Hey everyone, and welcome back to Midnite Spookshow. So if you are new here, my name is Jody and this is my channel for all things weird, Halloween, paranormal, spooky, whatever. And this is actually my first Q&A. So I have a list here of all the questions that everybody has asked me over the past, well, ever since yesterday afternoon. Some of the questions are repeats, so I kind of just put all of those together, but I think I counted like 30 of them all together. So I promise I'm not going to make this too long. Some of these I'm just not going to go into detail with. I'm just going to give you like a simple answer. So let's just hop right into it. First question is, what is my favorite color or color combo? And without a doubt, it is purple or the mix of purple and black together. All right, next question is, what do I do for a living? And I have a full-time job that I work Monday through Friday. I am an administrative assistant for a natural gas company. And on the side, my husband and I just opened up our very own home-based business. It's a dog treat bakery called Donuts Barkery. And I'll put our little logo up here somewhere. And just to tell you too, throughout this whole entire video, you're probably going to see like random pictures popping up based on what I'm talking about. What is my favorite Halloween candy as a kid? And is it still the same? And then you guys have also asked, what is my least favorite candy? So my favorite candy as a kid would absolutely, without a doubt, be the wax bottles with like the little juice in it. Milk duds and dots. Now the wax bottles are like really gross. They get stuck in your teeth and I don't know what the whole appeal was. I think it was just fun biting the top of it off, spitting it out, and, you know, drinking the little juice. So yeah, not so much anymore. I still do love dots and milk duds though. Oh, and the candy that comes on the long strip, the little dots on there, those were always my favorite. I haven't had any recently, but it's just sugar on like wax paper and it tastes like paper. So not too appealing to me now. Next question is, how long have you and Joey been married and how did you meet? So Joey and I met when I was 22. He was actually one of my customers whenever I used to work at a cell phone store, and it's a long story. We've been through a lot of stuff, more than any couple really should go through, but we made it through all of that. This December we will be married for 6 years, and next month we'll be together a total of 8 years. What do you pass out at Halloween and how many trick-or-treaters do you get? So this is super depressing for me, but I don't get a single trick-or-treater. There's just a big bang. I don't know what that was. Where our house is located is off of like a major highway, and all of the people that live on our road are pretty much retirement age, or they've already retired, or they're getting close to it. So no kids whatsoever. It's super bummed, but knowing me, if we lived in a neighborhood that did allow kids, I would be the person that made up like little treat bags with like toys and full-size candy bars, obviously. Just all that good shit that you loved as a kid. Like no apples, no toothbrushes or pennies, because that's just freaking lame. Favorite Halloween store or place to buy Halloween decor? I would say my favorite place to buy indoor stuff is a tie between like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and Marshalls. They're like all the same company basically. But I just love their stuff, and I have a hard time staying out of the stores whenever they are stocked, because every time you go in there they have new stuff, and it's always stuff that like is perfect and it's my style, so I go for it. I think somebody else asked if I change themes every year or if I just keep the same stuff and what appeals to me. I tend to like things that are a little bit more on like the creepier side, and things that I can keep out all year round. I think if you've noticed in some of my previous videos, I still have my Frankenstein bust out. He's something that stays out all year round. Our living room is black and gray. So a lot of the stuff that I buy fits into our living room theme. The only things that I usually don't put out are like pumpkins and stuff like that, because I like to have my special little stash that is dedicated just for Halloween. And that's what I get excited about displaying. And you know, you guys have seen my past videos. If you haven't, go back and look at my vlogs of decorating and our party. You can kind of get a gist of the stuff that I set up. I wish that I could have the time and the money to pick a different theme every year, but I don't. I do try to set up our house a little bit different, just as far as like where the decorations go. So you're not going to see necessarily the same things in the same places every year, but you'll probably see a lot of the same stuff, plus all the new stuff that I bought for that year. So hard to stay out of the stores. But I do save up all year round to purchase Halloween stuff. So like anytime that I get money, like if it's for a holiday or a birthday or whatever, I take that money and I save it and wait until the stores are stocked. That way I can use it for my absolute favorite time of the year. Next question is, what started or inspired your love for Halloween? And where did your love for Halloween come from, basically? So this is kind of an interesting story. When I was little, my dad took me trick-or-treating for the very first time when I was 3 years old. And I remember this like it was yesterday. We were walking around our neighborhood at the time, and these people had like a somewhat of a haunt set up at their house. They had like a garage that you walk into. They had black plastic all over the walls, and they had a full-size real casket sitting inside of this room with a fog machine and everything. And I was clinging on to my dad, and out of nowhere this huge freaking vampire jumps out of this coffin and scares the shit out of me, and I literally like ran down the road. They all felt really bad, so as soon as my dad calmed me down, they said, come on in, we're not going to scare her, we just had to scare them. And I know if I was that, this is going to sound really bad, but I'd be scaring all the freaking kids. If we had trick-or-treaters that came to our house, I would be scaring the shit out of them, because that is how haunters get started. And as they get older especially, they might take notice to your decorations and how you're building things. And I just think it would be so cool to show other neighborhood children and share Halloween in that aspect. Long story short, I'm getting way off path. We went back to the house, and there was a guy there who was dressed up, no kidding, at least this is how I remember it. Have any of you seen Where the Wild Things Are? I think that's the name of the movie. Anyways, the beast in that movie is fucking scary as shit. Like the new version where it's not cartoon, it's like real people. There was somebody there that was dressed up like that, and that is like embedded into my brain. And ever since then, I've just been obsessed. Whenever I was little, every single year, we would not go to the store and buy our costumes. My aunt would make every single costume for us. So, like one of the costumes, I wanted to be Jasmine from Aladdin, and she made it all out of scratch material, fabric, like everything. And I think that's what made it a little bit more special for me, was knowing that so much time and love went into my costumes. All year round, I would be planning, like I would have my Trapper Keeper, and my Trapper Keeper would be filled with ideas for Halloween, whether it be like a party, decorations that I wanted to make. Like I would go to the store and buy all the craft books that had like, oh, make these with your kids. My mom would sit down and literally make every single fucking craft in that book. And she really made it special for me. Her birthday is October 29th, so she would always kind of like incorporate her birthday and everything into it. And I think she loved seeing how excited I would get about it. and she did everything for us. And then I got into starting to make other things other than like indoor crafts. I started to build, like I think the very first thing that I actually built was a tombstone out of wood. My dad had some extra paint in the garage, and I was so excited that he even had gray paint, so I started shaking it in the garage. The top went off and paint just went freaking everywhere. Yeah, I know this was like a super long answer to a question, but I'm sure you guys probably, like, this ties into a lot of questions that people are asking, like, do your family members share your love of Halloween? My mom passed when I was only 13 years old, and my dad still continued to celebrate Halloween with us. And now that I'm older, I can without a doubt say that I am 100% way more obsessed and fanatic about Halloween than anybody in my family. I know my cousins, they really love Halloween. Joey got into it because I was so into it, and he started helping me build props and all that other stuff. And I think secretly my in-laws are really loving it too. I last year came home from work the one day, and my father-in-law had bought a Halloween prop, and he put it up in the yard as a surprise for whenever I came home. So like just getting them involved and seeing like the things that I've built and coming to the parties and everything, they get really excited. It's just nice whenever people show their appreciation for all the work that you put in every year and just share the love of Halloween. It is literally like I get a freaking high off of it. Like whenever I see Halloween stuff in the stores, like my heart starts racing really fast, and I just get like so fucking excited. I don't even know how I can explain this feeling other than like whenever you see that one person that you just love so much and you get those butterflies, like that's how I feel about Halloween. I just can't get enough of it. And I'm thinking of it like all the time on just like I did whenever I was little. I have a notebook where I keep all my Halloween notes and things that I want to do and costumes I want to make, props I want to build. It's just always on my mind. That was a really long answer, sorry guys. As you can tell, Halloween gets me really freaking excited. Favorite Halloween memory? I know this kind of ties in with the questions that I was answering earlier, but I will say that other than like when I had the shit scared out of me as a 3-year-old and how I got started in it, when I was in elementary school, we used to have like Halloween parties. I don't even know if schools still do holiday parties anymore or not. If you guys have kids and they still have parties, let me know because I'm really interested. But we would like, everybody would dress up in their costume. I know my mom always used to come to the school and we'd like make a Halloween craft that day. Everybody would get candy, we'd put our costumes on, and then we would do a huge parade around the school. And I have video footage of it on a VHS tape. If possible, I will put it in this video so you can see. And I think the video that I have is actually the year that I dressed up as Jasmine. So if I can find that, I'll have to like film it with my camera and put it on because I don't know how to do all that fancy stuff. But that was one of my favorite. There's going to be 3 because I can't just pick one. My second favorite, or I would say they're all tied. 2 years ago in 2015, Joey and I went to Salem for Halloween night. We were there for like the entire Halloween weekend actually. And just to experience that was absolutely insane. That was like one of the #1 things on my bucket list of things that I wanted to do before I die. And just to experience that alone was life-changing for me. That was like truly like my dream vacation. Although it was super freaking crazy, really busy. In the end, some girl ended up throwing up on my prop that I had with my costume. It was still a really fun night. Although I have to warn you guys, if you are spending if you're spending Halloween in Salem, eat before you go because you're not going to be able to eat anywhere. We learned that the hard way. And my third is one Halloween night, my brother and I went out to one of my favorite haunted houses in the area. while we were on the hayride going on the way to the haunted house. We saw the most awesome like green and blue shooting star, and I don't know why that just always sticks out in my mind. So I always thought that was really cool. Did you make any friends in real life from the Halloween forum? And my answer to this is yes, I have. Steve and Kristy, I think I met Steve and Kristy first on the Halloween forum, and then I started watching their YouTube videos. The very first time, and the second time, actually both times that we've been to Salem, Steve and Kristy were there too, and Steve, I have to say, was one of the most awesome freaking tour guides. He showed us all around Salem, told us where to go, gave us all the history. It was just so cool to meet all these Halloween and Haunter people that you talk to on a regular basis online, and then being with them in person and you share the exact same likes and love for Halloween and the town. It was one of the coolest things. My main goal is to get to Midwest Haunters Convention one of these years, and we're going to do it. And I know that a lot of you guys go there too, so I'm gonna meet you someday. But that would be really cool. Let me see here. This is like a really random question, but I'm gonna answer it anyways. And it was, have you ever been in a street fight or just a physical fight? And I don't really know what's the difference between a street fight and a physical fight, but I've had a physical fight in the street, if that counts. Next question, what would your ultimate haunt and Halloween party look like? I would have to say, I think it would be so cool if it was like an all-day event type thing. People could just come and go whenever they wanted to, but I would love to have a full walkthrough haunt in my yard. Afterwards, a party where everybody can just eat and drink and have fun. I'd like to have like a pumpkin carving contest. I think that would be really cool. We do a costume contest every year, although last year I forgot to do it and I still have the prizes. So the prize will probably even be bigger this year. Just sitting around the fire, stuff like that, and just being with friends and family while dressed like really weird. Yeah. Oh, and it would have to be a full moon. Let's see here. Favorite Halloween song? Oh, geez. This one's tough for me because I don't really listen to songs with lyrics as far as like the Halloween stuff goes. I'm more like, if I ever need to get myself in the Halloween mood, I'll put on some Midnight Syndicate or Nox Arcana. There's another song that's like super freaking creepy. It's by a guy named, I'm gonna butcher his name. I'll put it down here. Svarte Greiner or something. Creepiest song ever. It's called Easy on the Bones. If I can find it, I'll link it down below, but it's just creepy. But regular song with like lyrics that is sung or whatever, I'd have to say, I Put a Spell on You, but only whenever Winifred is singing it. I love her version the best. Let's see here. Favorite Halloween costume you dressed up as, and the least favorite. I think I'm gonna start with my least favorite. This is I might have like two. One was this pumpkin. I dressed up as a pumpkin one year, and it was like a last minute costume because there was a lot of stuff going on in my life at the time and I didn't have anything else. I think I have a picture of that one. The other costume, only because of how uncomfortable it was, my aunt made me a costume to look like a Hershey's Kiss. Like I had a hat that like had the little ribbon that said Hershey's on it, and I just looked like a big thing of like popped popcorn and foil. That's at least how I felt. I don't know if I have any pictures of those. If I do, I'll post it somewhere in this video, but I know I have a picture of the pumpkin. My favorite costume is probably what I was last year because I created everything from scratch. I was a candy demon, and the theme behind it basically was I am a demon that comes out on Halloween night, and I go trick-or-treating and I get mad because there's people that don't really pass out good candy, or there's punk-ass teenagers that are, you know, ruining it and not wearing a costume and stuff like this. And I turn into like the candy that is being passed out, sort of. So I have candy corn horns, I have pumpkins on both of my shoulders that light up. I might have had wings. I can't remember. This is what I was in Salem, and I wore the same costume last year, but I loved my makeup more last year than I did when I was in Salem. And I also have a prop that I use. Basically, the concept was for those people who aren't passing out Halloween candy, I chopped their head off, I carved out their brains, and I made them become my trick-or-treat pail. So it's a head with candy in it that's like my trick-or-treat pail. Weird and crazy, I know, but it has to be by far my most favorite costume. We're in July, almost into August, and I still have no idea what my costume is going to be this year. There's times when I literally just throw something together the day of, which sucks because it never turns out the way that I want it to, but I might have time to put something together before our party. Moving on. If you could have any costume made for you, original or replica, what would it be? That, again, I'm gonna have to go with you on that one. I'm gonna say Winifred from Hocus Pocus. Or I've made one myself, but I'd love to have one officially. Sam's costume from Trick or Treat. Am I doing a card swap this year? This is such a tough question. I would really love to do the card swap again this year, but I just don't know if I'm going to have the time because of the business. Maybe if I can start working on them soon, I'll probably have a lower limit this year if I do get the chance to send them out. I really had fun doing them last year. It was so fun going to the mailbox, and the lady at the post office was like, "Oh, you got another spooky package today." And I just love making the cards and sitting down. Like, it was so relaxing for me. It was just like a way to relieve some stress, making cards for you guys. And I think a couple videos back, somebody asked if I can make a tutorial for how I make some of my cards, and I will definitely do that. But I, at this point, have no idea whether or not the card exchange is going to happen this year. If you had to pick only one favorite thing about Halloween, what would it be? This was from Susie, and I think you're meaning like a physical object. If not, please correct me. But I would say the one thing, if I could only have one thing for Halloween, I would say it would be a jack-o'-lantern, because that's just like one of my Halloween staples. Favorite spooky leading lady, without a doubt, freaking Elvira. I am in love and obsessed with Elvira. Favorite Halloween YouTubers. So this is an interesting question. I'm sure if you're here, you already know about Sam from Halloween Happy. She is without a doubt one of my favorite Halloween YouTubers. I just love her hauls and her Halloween It Yourself videos, and yeah, she's one of my favorites. As far as like prop building and stuff like that goes, I would have to go with the Hollywood Haunters. They're absolutely one of my favorites. It's so hard to pick because I have so many people who I have talked to and have become close with, and I've fallen in love with their work. Steve and Kristy, again, The Haunting Grounds. I'll put the links down for these people down below so that you could check them out for yourselves. Who else? Brad Goodspeed, the Butcher of Provincetown. Back in the day, he used to make some really rad shit. I don't know if he's still haunting or not. If he is, it's probably on a much smaller scale than it was. His stuff is pretty inspiring. And Rania Peet, she was working with the Haunted Garden. Unfortunately, it got shut down, which is total bullshit. She did some really cool stuff, and now she's working with Markoff's Forest or something. She was another favorite. I don't know, it's just all these people who I have become friends with over the years, just seeing their haunts and their ideas and their builds and their props and just everything. It's so inspiring, and I owe a lot of credit to them for what I've built. Because without them, like my Halloween YouTube friends and the Halloween forum, shit, I would have never become a haunter.